And I was telling the viewers earlier in the day when we broke this, midday, that I hadn't really seen anything from inside this island before, and it is very disturbing stuff. What are you taking away so far from what's been released?
Well, I think first it's really important that when we receive information from other sources, obviously the DOJ is not giving us anything.
Yeah.
Pam Bondi and Donald Trump continue their cover up and they refuse to turn over the Epstein files as they should. So when we gain information, photos, videos from other sources, and in this case, we've received a response to inquiries from us to the Virgin Islands, their government, where the island, of course, Jeffrey Epstein's island is and was, and also from various banks. We're going to put that information out to the public. And so late last night, we received these videos and photos that obviously that your viewers are seeing right now. These have never been seen before. We've also received about approximately 5,000 pages of documents. Many of the documents are financial records from JP Morgan Chase as well as from Deutsche Bank. These are the first of multiple batches of documents that we will be receiving from them. And we hope to put out as much financial information and records as we can in the days and weeks ahead. It's very complex to also do redactions, as you can imagine, to protect the survivors. And in some of the pictures that we put out today, even that limited batch, we've had to make some redactions, of course, to protect certain names. But when we get something, the public is going to know about it, and we're going to put it out to the public.
Yeah, and I just want to ask you about a couple of those photos, and we saw a couple of them just in the last couple of minutes. But there was one of this room where there seems to be like a dental chair and some weird masks on the wall. I'm wondering if you know what that is. And then there's a chalkboard with some redacted names on it or words on it. I'd like to know what that is, and maybe there's only so much you can say. There's also a phone that has a list of contacts on it with some names redacted. Anything you can tell us about? I know you can't say a whole lot about these redactions, but were they redactions that your team made? Were they made by the Virgin Islands Department of Justice? What can you say?
Those are redactions that our team made, and we are committed completely to protecting any information around and about any survivors and the victims of Jeffrey Epstein. And we've made that commitment directly to them and to their families. And so we're going to continue to do that. As it relates to the phone, I think it's clear that these are some names that he had on some type of speed dial on his phone. We are trying to gain more information about exactly who those people were, and we're making some progress on that. On the board that you saw there, that he had this kind of large blackboard in some type of living room den that he had. There were some names there that we thought were important to remove to protect those victims. But as you can see, it's really creepy, and
Really creepy.
And it's sick that this man and Ghislaine Maxwell went on to abuse children and women and girls in these spaces. And I think it's been hard to go through them and to know that we're talking about, in many cases, 13 and 14-year-old girls. That dentist chair and the masks that are on the wall, again, I think very disturbing.
Very disturbing. And you were saying at the beginning of your comments that, this is coming out as Trump and the Department of Justice, they're still sitting on these files. And there was a law passed to release these files. And Trump signed that law, signed that bill into law. And so my question is, what are we waiting for? Do we know? Have they given any excuses? I mean, what's happening?
They have told us nothing. And I remind the DOJ and the Attorney General that not only is there a law that was passed in a bipartisan manner by both houses, we also have a subpoena that's active by the Oversight Committee that was passed months ago. And they refuse to address either the subpoena or the law passed by the Congress. And so there's some time left in the law, is where they have a couple of weeks to comply. But we have gotten no indication that they're going to meet their deadlines. And certainly, if they choose to release something, it'll be interesting to see what they actually put out. They should put the entire batch of documents and just release them to the public. We know that they're in their possession. They could release everything today. If they truly wanted justice for the survivors, they could release all of the documents today. And the videos that people are seeing, of course, are the island itself and the home and estate that were on the island in the Virgin Islands. But we also know that the DOJ, from what we understand from sources and others, that there are videos and photos and disturbing documents that, of course, show some of these parties and other events and where Jeffrey Epstein committed rape and horrible actions to so many individuals and so many girls and women. That information, and then our ability to redact that information of the survivors, is going to be really important in the months ahead. And that's why we're being so careful in protecting those survivors.
And just to make sure I have this clear, you said that there's some video evidence or photographic evidence of the abuse itself. Does that appear to be in? Yeah.
Yeah, we understand. Again, this is just what we have heard from multiple people, that there are videos and there are photos of events and parties that Jeffrey Epstein hosted. As far as what those videos and photos exactly show, we don't have a full picture of that, but we think there is a lot of important evidence for our investigation to hold the powerful men accountable that committed all of these crimes. The DOJ is currently sitting on those.
Yeah, and of the stuff that your office put out today, the photos and the videos and the records that you're starting to receive right now, I have to just ask the question I think people in the audience are asking, which is, has there been anything uncovered that implicates President Trump?
I think what we've put out, I think, just speaks for itself. They're really images of Jeffrey Epstein's island and estate, and we'll put everything out that we have. And so again, these are just images. There are no people in these images or in these photos. And what we do know is that the amount of information that the DOJ has is where the significant evidence for our investigation lies.
Yeah. And what should be noted is, I mean, you've had to go, your office, your team has had to go around the Department of Justice. You had to go around the Department of Justice to the Epstein estate to obtain the emails that we saw earlier this fall. You had to go to the Virgin Islands Department of Justice to obtain this photographic and video evidence from their files. And it just speaks to what is basically a cover-up, and that they're just suppressing the release of this information, even though they've been compelled to do it. It's pretty extraordinary.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
We don't know, for example, these videos, these photos, the DOJ may have them in their possession, they may not, but we've had to just hunker down and try to access as much information as possible from the Epstein estate, from the banks, from the AG's office in the Virgin Islands, from so many other sources talking directly to survivors because of the White House cover-up. All of this could be over immediately if Pam Bondi would just release those files. And so we're going to continue to gain as much information as possible and then put it out to the public. And I think in this case, transparency is the most important thing. We want to make sure that anything that we receive that we can legally put out, that we do so immediately.
And just finally, on the bank records, do we know what those bank records are going to show?
We're just beginning to go through those. We just received them late last night. They are complex statements. They certainly show money being moved and transferred. As far as what exactly it says or where it leads us, I think it's going to take us days and weeks to go through it all. And so we want to be very careful before making any assumptions about these records. What I will say is, though, we received a small batch of bank records. We have many more documents from Deutsche Bank and JP Morgan that are to come in the future. And in addition to that, there are 20 additional banks where there's no subpoena on right now that also have critical information. And we've been asking Republicans to join us also to subpoena those banks. They have yet done that, but we're hopeful they do so in the future.
And it sounds like there's more to come.
There's more to come.
There's more to come. All right, Congressman Robert Garcia, thanks very much for your time. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right.